This is the Fujifilm X100V. This little point and shoot camera has been getting so much hype lately, and if you've been on the internet looking at cameras at all, you've probably seen it. And for good reason. Everybody seems to be loving this camera. But does that mean that you should be spending your hard-earned money on it? But don't worry, we'll be going over if the Fuji X100V lives up to the hype, but most importantly, we'll be going over if it's a camera that you should buy. This camera is a little bit different because the specs on it don't really matter. So just chill, relax, because we're not going to be going over every single intricate spec of this camera, because the images that come out of it and the way you use this camera are much more important than the actual specs itself. And this is going to make sense in just a few minutes. Okay, so to me, the aesthetic of a camera and the way it makes you feel when you're using it are just as important as the images coming out of it to me. Now, I know it sounds cheesy, so cringe warning, but this camera right here makes me want to take pictures. It inspires me to take pictures. Don't ask me how or why, but this camera is just such a vibe. Maybe it's the retro style or the physical dials, but there's just something about this camera. Tell me that was not satisfying. Go ahead, replay it. That, my friends, is very, very satisfying. Okay, so but for real though, the design of this camera is great. It just feels different than all the other mirrorless cameras out on the market. It feels like it's meant to be taken with you no matter where you're going. It's the perfect companion camera, and that's why I just really, really like the design of it. Okay, look at some of the images that I've captured with this camera. The colors, the style, the way the images come out, there's something very, very nice and very beautiful about it. The skin tones, the colors, like it's just very, very good. Now, Fuji cameras include all these presets that are meant to emulate film. So you get things like classic chrome and classic negative, which are the ones that I use most often, but there's another bunch that you can cycle through. So what I like to do is that I shoot in both RAW and JPEG in this camera. I know, JPEG. And then I edit the RAW files in Lightroom using some film presets so I can really, really get that disposable camera or film type look to it. It's very nice and very satisfying. So I take this camera when I'm with my friends at parties or at functions, and the pictures that come out of this are very amazing, and all my friends seem to really like the results. So they keep asking me, can you bring your little camera? Can you bring your little camera? Because everybody likes the pictures, because the energy just jumps right out the screen. There's just something about it that conveys a feeling of fun, and you can really tell when you look at these pictures. And probably one of the best things about this camera is that when you take the pictures, the results just look so effortless. If you have an eye for a composition, or if you just want to take some pictures with your friends, even selfies for that matter, the pictures just come out very, very nice, very natural, and it feels like not a lot of effort has gone into making beautiful pictures. So one of the unique things about this camera that separates it from a lot of the other digital mirrorless cameras on the market is that it has a fixed lens. Now what that means is that it's a 23mm f2 lens that cannot be zoomed in, it cannot be changed, and that kind of works well for this camera because it keeps it very, very compact. It's something very small and it doesn't get in the way. It can fit right in your pocket so you can take it with you wherever you go. Like for me, I literally just keep it in my pocket so that way I have it at all times. I can just pull it out whenever the perfect opportunity is to snap a quick picture and I want a much, much higher quality picture than from my phone. But that comes with a downside because that fixed lens and no zoom means you're losing a bunch of versatility, because like a regular mirrorless camera, you can switch the lens, right? The lenses are interchangeable. But for this camera, it means that if you want to zoom in or you want to punch in on something, that you're going to have to use the inbuilt digital cropping, and you're losing a little bit of quality. So you're definitely losing that versatility by using this camera over an interchangeable lens. Now on the flip side, that means you have to be much more intentional about composing your shot and really setting it up very nicely. So it makes you kind of slow down, it makes you think and put on your creative hat, and then you want to set up the composition so that the picture is looking nice because you only have one focal length. So now I have to go over some of the things that I have not liked about this camera, because no camera is perfect, and that's okay. But let's just go over these. Now we're in 2023 pretty much, and this camera does not have a flip out screen. Come on, man. Like, it would have been so much better if you just had one of those flip out screens. I get it, you have the little tilty screen, But what if I want to shoot in portrait? Or what if I want some different angles? Or what if I want to take a selfie? Come on, man, like a flip out screen. I feel like every single camera should have that. I don't know why they didn't include it, maybe in the next version, but that's one of the things that I really miss out on this, is just having a flip out screen. And the next thing is that this camera is pretty much strictly a photography camera. I know it has a video mode, but to me, that video mode is really not the priority. This camera knows what it does well, which is photography, and it really leans into it. Simple example is that it doesn't really have a normal 3.5mm mic jack. So if you want to make videos, you're not really getting too good audio unless you have one of those adapters or a different style of mic. Now, this is not a bad thing inherently because, again, this camera does what it's good at. It takes great pictures. So videography is not really the main focus. Even though it shoots 4K and everything, like, I wouldn't recommend this as a video camera. And if you're getting this to create video content with it, you might want to look elsewhere. All right, now let's wrap this up. I've had this camera for about 2 years now, and I can say that it's definitely one of my most favorite pieces of gear in my camera bag, and I genuinely enjoy using it, and I genuinely enjoy taking pictures with it and bringing it along with me on all my little adventures. But the question is, should you get it? Because this camera is not for everybody. Now, if you're in the position where you are just having one camera and you just have one thing to do it all, film videos, take pictures, I would not recommend this. I would recommend something a little bit different with an interchangeable lens. And that goes back to the versatility of this camera. Being a fixed lens, not really shooting video as a priority, like, it's not the most versatile thing in the world. So it wouldn't really benefit you because you're gonna be in a bunch of different situations, and if you only have one camera and this is the camera, then you might be struggling to get the content that you want. The best way that I can describe this camera is that it is a great companion camera. It's not going to replace your mirrorless high-end camera setup, but when you just want to take some nice pictures, you want to feel inspired, you want to capture very, very aesthetic tones and colors and everything, this is the camera to take with you. It fits right in your pocket. I love taking it with me wherever I'm going. Like, you can have the most simple situation, and this camera, and with a little bit of composition or with a little bit of skill, you can make anything look very, very nice. So it definitely always has a spot in my bag or in my pocket, but it's not replacing my big mirrorless camera anytime soon. So to basically sum it up, if you're in a position where you have a little bit of extra money to spend and you want a camera that delivers very, very nice results that you can take around, and you want to step up from phone photography, the Fujifilm X100V is the perfect option. Now, I know the hype has been crazy on this camera as of lately, but I think, in my opinion, it is justified because this camera is great. Now, it does have a couple drawbacks, which we went over, but overall, it's a camera that if you get, I'm sure that you will very, very much enjoy using. Okay, now that's enough for me. I'm gonna stop rambling, but if you found this video helpful, make sure you drop a big thumbs up and click that subscribe button, the bell notification, all those good stuff, because it really helps me and the channel grow. I appreciate you for watching, and if you stuck it to the end, you're a real one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.